All right, I'm here with Willow, and she's a lover, but she doesn't know, she doesn't always listen. She's in the backyard, and behind the camera, you can hear a couple dogs barking. And so in this video, I'm going to go over how you can help your dog practice and condition your dog to listen to you amongst distractions. Willow, first thing I want to do is I want to prime the clicker. So I'm going to roll a treat on the floor. Every time she licks it up, I'm going to click. Willow, Willow, puppy, puppy. You want to do this for about 10 treats. About 3 or 4 different times. Willow's a little bit tired because we've been outside because it's Corona season and it's Nebraska, it's like 100 degrees. So she's a little bit tired. But I'm going to show you how to do this because it's really, really beneficial. A lot of my clients, when their dog doesn't listen to them in a situation, I ask, have you ever taught the dog to listen to you or train the dog to do the behavior that you want? And most people say no, they don't even think about it. So we just throw the dog in the most difficult situation possible. We don't teach them how we want them to behave, and we get upset when they don't do what we haven't taught them. We would never accept that as humans, but it's sadly very, very common for dogs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bust out the crack, as we like to call it. Stewart's freeze-dried beef liver. We call it crack because dogs fiend for it. And so I'm going to use this, and I'm also going to put her on a leash, which I probably should have done before we started filming this, so I'm just going to talk and explain the parts while I'm getting ready. So what you want to do is you want to use a leash for this because we want to be able to control the dog. Now, if you're going to do these sort of things, I talk to the guardians about setting the dog up for success. So a lot of us have Willow's in her prime. She's 2-year-old Adobe. She's got a lot of energy, and she doesn't have very much impulse control. So if you're going to do these sort of exercises or work with your dog, you want to set your dog up for success. I would recommend the guardians use the doggy stairmaster. Take her for a nice walk, play fetch, some scent games, some things along those lines to burn that excess energy. When you exercise your dog, make sure it's with an empty stomach. Make sure your dog has about 10 minutes to recover afterwards before you start the exercise. Willow, puppy, puppy, Willow. Have we pooped you out completely? All right, Willow, come here. Willow, come. You're not gonna come and get it? Willow, come here. Come here, Willow. I don't want to pantomime this one. So I'm gonna have the camera just follow me. You can sit there. Here you go, Willow. Yes. What's a sweet girl. Now she didn't listen to me because she's tired, not because she's being disobedient. And also because, and you can go over there, because she's also normally charges the fence and barks when these dogs are out here. So this is not the ideal time to do it, but I'm here when I'm here. So we're gonna go ahead and go forward. But for you, I want you to pick and choose your battles when you're doing this at home so the dog is in a position to succeed and you're not frustrated or stressed out. Now, once you've achieved this and you've clicker trained your dog, loaded or primed the clicker, 10 treats, maybe 2 or 3 different times. Then what I want you to do is I want you to put the dog on a leash. This is a nice 6-foot lead. And we're going to walk and ask the dog to do different things. Now for clicker training, the click is to indicate you just did what I wanted. So I'll demonstrate with a sit here if we can get one. Sit. Sit. So the click comes when the dog does what you want. Then you're going to put the treat in their mouth. She's going to get the one I threw for her earlier, Smarty Pants. Then you're going to click when the dog does the action that you want. Then you're going to put a treat in their mouth or pet them. And then you're going to mark or label why you're paying or rewarding the dog. And remember, dogs hear the first word you say. So don't say good sit, just say the word sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk around this awesome little putting green here and do a little basic clicker training. However, when you're doing this, right now she's tired and we set her up for success. I want you to exercise her like I talked about earlier, but the fence line is about 12 feet behind the camera that you can't see. Over there, about 40 feet, we have another fence. Anytime your dog is reactive, the best thing you do is increase the distance until they're not reactive. My 2 tests, my litmus test, can I get the dog to sit and can I get the dog to take a treat? If it won't sit or won't take a treat, it's getting close to its threshold or breaking point. And that's not a good time to learn. We want them to learn in the easiest environment possible. And I'm not gonna pull her. Come, come, Willow, come. Come. So she came to me, I clicked for the come, I gave her the treat, and I said, what? Now, Willow, come. Willow. Willow. Sit. Sit. Willow, come. Willow, come. We just did a boundary boundary exercise, so I don't think she wants to come here because of that reason. Willow, come here. Come. Sit. Sit. Down. Down. Willow, come. Yeah, we got you all tangled up, didn't we? Not very good leash management by the dog behaviorist. Willow, come. Sit. Try to put the treat in the dog's actual mouth. Let's try it one more time. There you go. Oh, thank you. All right, Willow, come on. Sit. Willow, come. Willow, come. You want, okay. Down. Down. Now, Willow's a little bit pooped, so I'm going to do more describing than demonstrate. You got to get see a little bit of it. Now, when these dogs are out, normally she's over there. We have some residual benefits of the other things we've done throughout the session. What I'd like you to do, coordinate with your neighbor and say, hey, we'd like to teach Willow to actually not bark when your dogs are outside. This guy came by and gave us some tips, but we're hoping that at times we might be able to call you and you can put your dogs outside. Now, when you first start doing this, you do not want the dogs outside. You want to do this when they're not there. Exercise her as much as you need to, but don't overdo it. She's overly tired right now. This is more tired than I would like her to be. You want to just take that top level edge off. So then what you do is I'd have you start it inside. Tell her to sit at the door. She sits, click, give her the treat and say sit. Open the door, come out, and then tell her to sit again. Go to the bottom of your stairs, tell her to sit again. You can ask her to sit or lay down. Don't practice shake. Or if she's far away from you, ask her to come. So you're asking for 3 things unless she knows other tricks. So then what I'd like you to do is walk down, go behind your little wall, and then go to the fence line over there and walk around there. And every 3, 5, 10 steps, you're going to ask the dog to do something. And wait for the dog to disengage. She's looking at you, waiting. Wait for her to disengage. Then she starts sniffing. Don't compete with the nose for sniffing. If she's sniffing, wait for her to stop sniffing. The nose comes up, ask her for a crash. She lays down, click, and then give her the treat, and then move 3 or more paces away. Now, if I tell her to sit, and she doesn't sit within 3 seconds, I don't click, there's no treat, and I'm not saying it multiple times. I'm going to walk 3 more steps away. This will make the treats more valuable because I only get these when I do what the human wants me to do. And if I don't do it, there's no punishment, there's no correction, I just don't get the reward. Well, if I really like the reward, after a while I'm going to do what the human wants because it's in my interest too, because it gets me the same thing that I want. So the idea is you're practicing having her come to you, sit and lay down in this distracted environment. Eventually you would do it with the other dog there. Now this is a 6-foot lead. You might want to get yourself like an 8-foot lead. Now when you're doing this, what I would do is I would be over against the fence line way over there and let her kind of lose interest. And when she starts going this way and she gets about 8 or 10 feet away, however long the lead is, ask her to come to you. So what you're having her do is walk away from, or walk or run away from those dogs that direction towards you, or that direction towards wherever it is. And when she comes to you, you click, and then give her that treat. And once you prime the clicker and you've done enough, most dogs you click once and they're like, oh, I'm gonna get a copious amount of treats. I'm down for whatever you want. And that's the idea. That's the benefit of positive dog training, is we're creating the motivation for the dog to want to listen to us. So once we get to the point where, when you're doing this, I'd like you to have maybe about 25, 30 pieces of kibble or treat or whatever it is. Just make sure the reward is high enough that she wants it and she's gonna listen. So you're gonna kind of wander around your yard all over the place and wait for her to disengage, and then ask for a come, sit, or a down. When she does it, give her the reward. If she doesn't, then walk 3 more steps. Once you've done this a couple of times a day for maybe about 3 to 5 days, maybe a week, that's when you want to start asking your neighbor, can you let your dog out? Now, when that's the case, I want you to be on that side of your waterfall. So she's never going to cross that side until she consistently listens to you, whatever the command is. Even with this dog out here barking and not doing it or paying attention, going like crazy, she's not listening to them, she's listening to you. Once you get to that point, then you can start walking past this, but be mindful that the closer you get to the fence, the harder it's going to be for her. So don't put her in a position where she's going to fail, put her in a position where she's going to succeed. What you're going to notice is as you're practicing over there, those dogs are going to come and bark and they're going to charge the fence line, but she is not charging the fence line. She's, right now, if you can see it, there's a path right against the fence because she's running up and down. And the other dog does the same thing on the other side of the fence, and they reinforce each other. Well, now what we're helping you do is practice coming and listening to my humans and getting treats while the barking is going on over there, and I'm not running the fence line. And at first we have like a 6-foot lead, but eventually we get an 8-foot and a 10 feet and a 12-foot line. So she has the illusion of freedom, but we say come and she comes a running, and then we click for the come and then reward her. After a while, we say come, we don't need the leash, we don't need the clicker, I'm happy to come to you because that means I'm going to get a reward. I'm going to get something beneficial for me. Willow, come. Can you come here and get that one? We call this a jackpot Willow. I think Willow's a little bit she's a little bit tired. So this is Willow. Yes, that's Willow. She's a good-looking girl, isn't she? And these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that likes to fence fight and doesn't listen to you when it's in the backyard.